This is SpaceCoastDaily.com. We're here with retired Rear Admiral Wayne Justice. Mr. Justice is running for Port Canaveral Commission District 3. Mr. Justice, could you tell us a little bit about your professional and personal background?
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate the chance to talk here today. I am a 37-year Coast Guard veteran. I graduated from the Coast Guard Academy in 1977, and then had a career mostly on ships. Had the opportunity to sail on 6 different ships. I had 12 years at sea, which means I've gone for 6 years. Had the opportunity and the fortune to command 4 of them. So as a commanding officer, from a patrol boat up to a destroyer-sized ship. Mm-hmm. As well, 15 of my 37 years included assignments in Florida. 4 years in Key West, many years in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach. So I had the opportunity to understand the Florida maritime environment, particularly drug seizures, illegal migrant interdictions, search and rescue cases, and pollution response incidents.
Mm-hmm. And could you tell us a little bit about your experience, how that experience has maybe inspired you to run for this office?
Yes. After 37 years of service, I retired, and we moved to the Brevard area. I had the opportunity then to do a significant amount of volunteer work, mm-hmm. Different boards, the Crosswinds Youth Services Board, the Military Office Association Board, the Navy League, all this typical volunteer stuff that people get to do down here. Mm-hmm. I've enjoyed that, and I enjoy the service part of it, and I've got to know the port, and I see a nice fit between the responsibilities and requirements up at the port, which I feel I have a significant amount of expertise and qualification and interest. And it marries nicely with my background and the needs up there, which are significant.
Mm-hmm. And looking ahead, everyone knows that the port is a multi-billion-dollar economic driver in this community. Would you say you have any concerns about the future of the port?
Okay, Port Canaveral, as you say, an economic engine in this county, now and for the foreseeable future. What I feel I would focus on and do as a port commissioner would be to come in and be knowledgeable and provide expertise, leadership, guidance, management, support the team of commissioners as we look at managing growth. Right now the growth is almost exponential up there, and I truly believe that there needs to be competent, qualified oversight and management to make sure that there's a balance between what's coming in and growing and the new cruise terminals, the new cruise ship business, the cargo business, which is also potentially going to even explode, the cove development. All of these things need to be looked at with a weathered eye, as we say in the Coast Guard, to make sure that it's done with appropriate diligence and good fine physical expertise on top of it. I've had the opportunity while in the Coast Guard to manage a lot of money, $4, $5, $6 billion budgets I put together up in Washington. So I have some physical expertise and understand accountability. I've had the opportunity to be involved with capabilities and requirements of projects, and so I understand that side of it. And then of course as well my maritime expertise. I mean, my final job in the Coast Guard, I ran the Coast Guard from New Jersey to South Carolina. So I have a more of a regional or almost a national kind of perspective. So I think I get that, and the port is such an exciting growth potential, and I want to make sure that it stays on a smooth path that accomplishes the job that it wants to get done.
You mentioned keeping a close eye on the development. Do you feel that the port's development, while encouraging, may be occurring too quickly? Do you have fear that it may grow too rapidly? What's your take on the overall direction of the port's growth?
That's a great question, Matt. Yes, there's been an explosion of growth in the cruise, cargo, and the cove development area. As well, under the current leadership of the commission, Tom Weinberg and the team up there has been an excellent job of making sure, and then the CEO, John Walsh, has done a great job of also growing his staff and being recognizing that they need to have more competent, qualified people to handle this growth. And so, while they're doing a fine job, I also believe that additional scrutiny, additional oversight, additional expertise coming into that team is warranted and needed to make sure that it's just not full throttle and spend on projects that may sound good, may look good, may have some potential, but also cost a lot of money. We need to make sure that, well, I like to use the term, pick up a rock and look underneath it and make sure that what's happening, a little bit deeper is going to return an investment, and a significant investment that the port's making in any kind of project.
And with this growth, many in the community have voiced some concern over, and just some questions over environmental impact of the growth. Do you have any concerns, or what's your viewpoint as far as looking at possible environmental impact from the growth that we're all expecting, the continued growth that we're all expecting?
Again, a spot on issue. Right now, the port touches a whole lot of water and a lot of lagoon, and there's issues about the locks and the water flow, and as I listen to all these issues, and I go into workshops and I study the challenges, I will just say that I have an absolute appreciation for the challenges that the lagoon has. I'm not convinced yet that there is a silver bullet that can be fired that's going to solve all the problems. I do believe that there are many little things that can be done and some big things, and that again, all has to be done in some sort of a balance. I mean, you start spending $100 million on that lagoon, and you got to decide, what the impacts are going to be, because this county particularly has got other needs for that $100 million, whether it be for teachers or schools, or I'll just use that's the easy one to go with. So again, I appreciate the focus, and there has to be a balance struck between what's being done and how much money spent. Particularly though, I will say that the one big impacting project would be the railhead that comes into that port. And yes, indeed, that means a bridge over the Banana River. I could only, again, say that for sure that would be built in an environmentally impacted, balanced way, that it will offset whatever impact it has, will be offset in the way you do those kind of things. So I do appreciate that's a big deal to build a bridge over a river. It's needed, it's absolutely a requirement to move the cargo forward in that port, but as well, the impacts in the river and the lagoon would have to be addressed, and I appreciate that.
Now, this is the first time that you've run for public office. What has that whole process been like, as far as getting into a campaign, stepping into the political realm, the community service realm? I mean, you obviously served, your whole life has been in public service, but what's the adjustment been like going into campaign mode?
To say it's been fun, I'm not quite sure. I'd say that it's really interesting. I could never, and as active duty military, you could never be political. And so last fall, finally, I stepped into the Wendy's up the road there. Now it's gone, but it was the Romney campaign headquarters, and met some pretty senior, wonderful people who were running the Romney campaign. And so I spent 2 months kind of getting into the whole thing, and I enjoyed the cycle, the political cycle. So which spurred me to think that I could maybe do this. Mm-hmm. That said, what I've learned is that I'm not sure there's a direct connection between competency and qualifications and experience. Getting elected is a whole nother cycle, and it means knocking on doors, and it means meeting people and getting your name out and getting your face out, and it's a challenge. It's as a new guy, you got to work hard at it. But I'm up for it, and I've got some great support. This is a great county. This is a great group of people to want to represent, and so giving it a shot.
All right. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to tell us more about your background and your vision for the port, and we're sure we'll see you on the campaign trail as we continue to cover this whole election cycle for the Space Coast. And thanks again for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks.